Welcome back to the channel, basketball fans. Today, we are staring down the barrel of one of the most perplexing, frustrating, and downright baffling off-seasons in recent Golden State Warriors history. We are talking about a front office that seems absolutely paralyzed while the rest of the Western Conference is actively arming itself to the teeth. The title of today's deep dive really says it all, and it is a sentiment echoing across every corner of the fan base right now. The GM of the Warriors is still sleeping. Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the entire Golden State Brain Trust are seemingly asleep at the wheel, sitting perfectly still while monumental, landscape-altering shifts happen across the NBA. And the breaking news that just hit the wire today is exactly why Dub Nation is in an absolute state of frenzy right now. Khris Middleton, a proven champion, an elite three-level scorer, a clutch shot creator, and a veteran who knows exactly what it takes to win at the absolute highest level, has just been released. Let that sink in for a moment. Khris Middleton is out there. He is available. He is hitting the open free agent market in a sudden turn of events that absolutely nobody saw coming just a few short weeks ago. Along with that massive bombshell, we are getting widespread, heavily corroborated reports that the Warriors' so-called backup plan in free agency revolves around none other than Rui Hachimura. Yes, you heard that right. While other contenders are making aggressive win-now moves, the Golden State Warriors are reportedly twiddling their thumbs, watching premium talent fall off the board, and circling Rui Hachimura as their fallback option, while a player of Khris Middleton's caliber suddenly becomes available for the taking. This is not just a standard offseason update. This is a critical juncture for a franchise that is desperately clinging to the final years of Stephen Curry's legendary prime. We are looking at a situation where the window for championship contention is not just closing. It is being aggressively slammed shut by younger, hungrier teams in the West. And yet, the front office's lack of urgency is deafening. We have to ask ourselves, what is the strategy here? Is there a master plan that we simply cannot see, or is this front office genuinely terrified of pulling the trigger on a major move? The release of Khris Middleton changes the entire calculus of this offseason. It throws a massive wrench into the plans of every general manager in the league. But for a team like the Warriors, who desperately need a reliable secondary scorer to take the pressure off number 30, this should be a golden ticket. It should be an absolute no-brainer. But instead, all we hear is crickets, followed by the faint whisper of a Rui Hachimura backup plan. So, in today's broadcast, we are going to tear this entire situation apart piece by piece. We are going to look at exactly why Khris Middleton was released, what he brings to the table at this stage of his career, and why a specific skill set is the exact missing piece the Warriors have been searching for since the departure of Kevin Durant. We will also dissect this Rui Hachimura backup plan. We will talk about Hachimura's fit in Steve Kerr's system, his development over the past couple of seasons, and whether he is genuinely a piece that can move the needle for a championship-starved roster, or if he is simply a low-risk, low-reward panic button being pressed by a general manager who missed out on his primary targets. Get comfortable, because there is a lot to unpack here, and the implications of what happens over the next few days will define the Golden State Warriors for the rest of the decade. Let us start by addressing the massive elephant in the room, the sudden and shocking release of Khris Middleton. To understand the gravity of this news, we have to look at who Khris Middleton is and what he represents in today's NBA. We are not talking about a role player. We are not talking about a fringe starter. We are talking about a three-time All-Star, an NBA champion, and a player who served as the ultimate closer and offensive safety valve for Giannis Antetokounmpo during the Milwaukee Bucks championship run. Middleton has historically been one of the most lethal mid-range shooters in the game, a guy who can get you a bucket in isolation when the shot clock is winding down and the offensive system has completely broken down. That specific ability, the ability to create a high percentage look out of thin air against a set defense, is the exact quality the Golden State Warriors sorely lacked all of last season. Think about the Warriors' offense recently. When the motion stops, when the off-ball screens are perfectly defended, and when opposing defenses sell out entirely to trap Stephen Curry at the logo, the Warriors have consistently stagnated. They have desperately needed a player who can catch the ball on the wing, survey the floor, and confidently go get his own shot. Klay Thompson, for all his historical greatness, has evolved into a pure catch-and-shoot threat. Andrew Wiggins has been wildly inconsistent, oscillating between an aggressive slasher and a passive spectator. Jonathan Kuminga has shown incredible flashes of athleticism and downhill force, but he still lacks the polished half-court shot creation that you need in high-stakes playoff basketball. Khris Middleton solves that problem instantly. He operates at his own pace. He cannot be rushed. He has the size at 6'7" to shoot over smaller perimeter defenders and the strength to punish switches in the post. Now, the obvious question is, why was he released? The reality of the modern NBA is heavily dictated by the new collective bargaining agreement and the punitive nature of the luxury tax aprons. Teams are being forced to make incredibly difficult, sometimes agonizing financial decisions. Middleton has dealt with a string of lower body injuries over the past 2 seasons that have limited his availability. Front offices are increasingly terrified of carrying massive salary cap figures for aging veterans with an injury history. His release is a calculated financial maneuver, a harsh reminder that the NBA is, first and foremost, a ruthless business. But one team's financial casualty is another team's ultimate treasure. For a contending team or a team desperately trying to pry its championship window open for one last run, Middleton on a restructured, more manageable contract is the absolute steal of the decade. And this is where the frustration with the Golden State Warriors front office reaches a boiling point. Mike Dunleavy Jr. has been preaching patience. He has been preaching financial flexibility and the preservation of future assets. But when you have Stephen Curry on your roster, playing at a superhuman level in his late 30s, the word patience should not even be in your vocabulary. The time to win is right now. Every single day that passes without upgrading this roster is a disservice to the greatest player in franchise history. When a player like Khris Middleton hits the market, a general manager trying to win a championship does not sleep. They do not wait and see. They pick up the phone, they get on a plane, and they make a compelling pitch. The fact that we are not hearing aggressive rumblings connecting the Warriors to Middleton is alarming. It speaks to a potential organizational paralysis, a fear of making a wrong move that ultimately results in making no move at all. Instead, what are the reports telling us? They are telling us that the Warriors have a backup plan. They are telling us that if they miss out on the top-tier free agents, they are perfectly comfortable pivoting to Rui Hachimura. So, let's talk about Rui Hachimura. Let me be very clear. I am not here to bash Rui. Hachimura is a highly capable NBA player. He is a former top 10 draft pick who has carved out a very solid career for himself. At 6'8" with a massive wingspan, he possesses the physical tools that every team covets in a modern forward. During his tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers, he showed legitimate flashes of brilliance. He became a significantly better three-point shooter, shooting well over 40% from beyond the arc for extended stretches. He proved he could be a physical presence on the glass, and he had moments in the playoffs where he was the Lakers' second or third most reliable offensive option. If you bring Rui Hachimura onto the Golden State Warriors, he immediately upgrades their size and athleticism on the wing. He gives Steve Kerr a versatile forward who can slot in at the 3 or the 4, potentially playing alongside Draymond Green in smaller, faster lineups. He can spot up in the corner, hit open threes when Curry is double-teamed, and attack closeouts with authority. On paper, it makes a certain amount of sense. It is a logical, safe, relatively low-cost acquisition. But here's the fundamental problem with the Rui Hachimura backup plan. It does not move the needle. It does not strike fear into the hearts of the Denver Nuggets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, or the Dallas Mavericks. Rui Hachimura is a complementary piece. He is a player who thrives when he is the 4th or 5th option on the floor, benefiting from the gravity of superstars around him. He is not going to take the ball at the top of the key with 5 seconds on the shot clock and create a high-quality look against a set playoff defense. He is not going to command a double team. He is not going to dramatically alter the geometry of the court. The Warriors do not need more complementary rotation pieces. They have an entire roster filled with promising young talent and solid role players. They have Moses Moody. They have Tracy Jackson-Davis. They have Brandon Podziemski. What they desperately lack is a needle mover. They lack a legitimate number 2 offensive option who can reliably take the scoring burden off Stephen Curry's shoulders for extended stretches of basketball game. This is why the juxtaposition of Khris Middleton hitting the open market while the Warriors contemplate Rui Hachimura is driving fans absolutely crazy. It perfectly highlights the divide between aggressively chasing a championship and passively trying to remain competitive. Signing Khris Middleton is a massive swing. It comes with undeniable risks. You are betting on his health, his aging curve, and his ability to integrate into a complex motion offense. But the upside is a return to championship contention. The upside is having a closer who can hit daggers in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. Signing Hachimura, on the other hand, is a safe, incremental move. It might win you 2 or 3 more games in the regular season. It might make your rotation slightly deeper and slightly more athletic. But when you match up against the elite teams in the Western Conference, Hachimura is not the difference maker. He is a solid player, but he is a backup plan in every sense of the word. And when you have Stephen Curry, you do not operate on backup plans. You swing for the fences. The silence coming from the Warriors' front office is deafening. Every hour that passes with Mike Dunleavy Jr. reportedly sleeping on these opportunities is an hour wasted. The rest of the league is actively maneuvering, navigating the complex salary cap rules, clearing space, and making aggressive pitches to free agents. The Los Angeles Lakers, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Dallas Mavericks. They are all active. They are all desperately trying to improve. Meanwhile, the Warriors seem stuck in this bizarre holding pattern, paralyzed by the fear of luxury tax penalties and emotional attachment to their homegrown players. We have to understand the reality of the Stephen Curry timeline. This is not a situation where you can draft and develop for the next 5 years. You cannot preach patience when your franchise cornerstone is putting his body on the line every single night, carrying a historic offensive load. Curry is still a top 5 player in the world, capable of being the best player on a championship team. But he needs help. He needs a veteran presence, a proven scorer, a player who has been to the absolute wars of the NBA playoffs and emerged victorious. Khris Middleton checks every single one of those boxes. If the Warriors front office cannot see that, or if they are unwilling to take the financial or rotational risks required to bring him to the Bay Area, then we have to seriously question their commitment to winning another title in the Curry era. It is that simple. The luxury tax is a convenient excuse, but for a franchise that prints money and has built a global empire on the back of number 30, it is an excuse that falls completely flat. As we wrap up this deep dive, the picture is incredibly clear, yet profoundly frustrating. We are standing at a crossroads for the Golden State Warriors franchise. The board has essentially been reset with the shocking release of Khris Middleton. A premium, battle-tested, championship-caliber shot creator is sitting right there, waiting for a team to hand him the keys to a redemption season. He is the exact archetype of player the Warriors have spent the last 2 years desperately searching for. Yet, the prevailing narrative emanating from the Bay Area is one of hesitation, of cautious salary cap management, and of settling for a perfectly fine, but ultimately uninspiring backup plan in Hachimura. It is maddening for anyone who understands the fleeting nature of greatness in the NBA. The Stephen Curry window is not a permanent fixture. It is a rapidly closing aperture, and every passive offseason move nudges it further shut. Mike Dunleavy Jr. and this front office must wake up. The time for sleeping on the market is over. The time for protecting future draft capital at the expense of current contention is over. If you have the opportunity to pair Stephen Curry and Draymond Green with a proven clutch performer like Khris Middleton, you move heaven and earth to make it happen. You figure out the cap implications later. You manage the injury risks with your world-class medical staff. But you do not let him walk to a Western Conference rival while you talk yourself into the upside of Hachimura. The next 48 hours will tell us everything we need to know about the Golden State Warriors' internal compass. Will they be bold? Will they recognize the urgency of the moment and make the aggressive, championship or bust move? Or will they continue to sleepwalk through free agency, settling for safe, marginal upgrades that leave them fighting for a play-in tournament spot? Dub Nation is watching. The entire basketball world is watching. The ball is entirely in Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s court, and he is out of time to hit snooze. Thank you for tuning in to this extensive breakdown. The NBA landscape is shifting by the minute, and we will be here to analyze every single move, every rumor, and every consequence. If you found this analysis insightful, make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know where you stand. Should the Warriors risk it all for Khris Middleton? Or is a safe play with Hachimura the right move for the long-term health of the franchise? Let's get the debate started. Until the next breaking news drops, stay engaged, stay passionate, and we will see you on the next deep dive.